getting into cholesterol. Cholesterol is not a lipid as such, but a fat-like substance, waxy substance produced in our body. It is one place is liver, another place is our own cells. Our body produces almost 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol, whether you like it or not. It is produced because we want it. Now, we have a beautiful mechanism in place inside the body. If you eat more cholesterol through your food, body has the mechanism to understand and produce less in the cells and liver. If less is coming from the food, then body increases the amount of production. So it makes this adjustment, but in very small group of people, this mechanism for some reason has been destroyed and they actually start increasing cholesterol to very high levels. That is where we need to control completely from the food because body has lost control over that. And quite a small percentage of this we see in our patients, but there is another set of people who have this problem due to heredity. This happens, their blood cholesterol levels will be something like 800, 900 and all that. Very terribly high numbers. So it could be because of that. It is not because of your eating as such. So these are some things which you should be aware of. And why do we need cholesterol? Every cell membrane is made up of cholesterol. Without it, there is no difference between what is inside the cell and what is outside the cell. How does this exchange of what is inside going out, what is outside coming in happen? Because of this permeable membrane made up of cholesterol. It is very important. You know how many trillions of cells we have, and all this are made up of cholesterol. Second, cholesterol per se has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. So they are good for our body at a certain level. Beyond it or coming from wrong foods can be harmful. And body makes vitamin D under the skin with the exposure of sunlight. But to make this vitamin D, earlier we would consider it as a vitamin, but now we know it also behaves like a hormone. So to make this vitamin D, we need cholesterol. And to make bile, I told you in the last slide, to make bile, we need cholesterol. And bile is an important part of digestion of fats. Without bile, fats cannot be digested at all. And makes cortisol. Of course, as I said, it is necessary for all hormonal production. For production of stress hormones in specific, they are very important. And of course, sex hormones. And because they are made, they make these emergency hormones, they are very important in an emergency. Anything body has to respond in crisis, say infection, inflammation, and an emergency, these are the ones which are helpful. And it binds and inactivates bacterial toxins, which can be very toxic and harmful to our body. Cholesterol actually binds them, puts them together and throws it out in the stool. And they help the damage from microbes. So much benefits we get from cholesterol also, but we cannot overdo on them. Now, let me explain LDL. I've already told you in that picture that LDL, VLDL, HDL, people talk very loosely that LDL is a bad cholesterol, HDL is a good cholesterol. They actually don't have any sense or meaning at all. You have seen that. They are transporters. They're just vehicles of transporting our cholesterol and triglycerides. They have nothing to do actually at all. And why is LDL considered bad? Because they are filled with cholesterol and triglyceride. But they are not doing any bad job. They are actually doing such a beneficial job of distributing cholesterol and triglyceride. And sometimes HDL is considered healthy because it is collecting and bringing it back. But both are equally important functions in our body. Both should happen. All I'm trying to tell you is LDL by its per se has no meaning. It is just a vehicle. It is transporting our lipids from one place to another place. It is distributing our lipids. Now, this is very important for us to understand. There are two kinds of LDL, that is low density lipoprotein. One is large and lighter. The other one is small and dense. What do this large, buoyant or the lighter ones do? They actually see, okay, let me explain this before I get into this. Now say I take a handful of sand and rub it onto my skin. You will see a lot of scratches will happen and some can even penetrate and blood will start oozing. The next reaction of my body is to clot and protect me. Otherwise, I will bleed to death. Correct? So, the next reaction, protective mechanism inside my body is clotted and stop blood oozing out. Exactly like this, anywhere inside the body also it is similar. Now, the health of the inner lining of our arteries and veins is very, very important. If they are not healthy, or if they have given up, or say for example, the same thing happens inside. Now, when we say inflammation, lot of things happen. One of it is this. Exactly like I explained about the sand on the skin. This skin is very tough, very hardy. The skin inside the linings of everything inside our body, especially the arteries and veins, are very, very delicate. When inflammation increases, this inner lining of our arteries and veins become disrupted, or they don't have the integrity inside. When the same thing happens inside, now this small LDL have the chance or opportunity to go between cells and cause harm. This is what I'm trying to explain in this slide, but just going beyond, a little deviating from the subject. Now, say for example, this inflammation has caused this problem in the inner lining of the arteries. Now, the next reaction of the body is to clot it and seal the inner lining of the arteries. When this clot happens, you know how clotting happens. No? There is a scar tissue left. This scar tissue, the blood is carrying everything. There is calcium walking around, there is protein going, there is dead cells going, there is cholesterol going. All of this are being transported or traveling in the blood. They are absolutely harmless. But when this cholesterol seal or has happened in the inner lining of the blood vessel, it will start attracting all of this. Now the cholesterol which is simply going will go and get stuck there. The dead cells will start going and collecting. The calcium goes and collected. Slowly this collection goes on increasing depending on how much inflammation you are creating inside the body. And when they grow to such extent where they can decrease the flow of blood itself, because they've blocked the blood flow now. That is when whole problem starts all over the body, because body is not getting good amount of blood anywhere. And if it stops to the vital organs, and we are in danger. If it stops to the heart, it is heart attack. If it stops to the brain, it is a brain stroke. Okay, so this is how this process of atherosclerosis slowly starts. Where did it start? It did not start with cholesterol. It started with the disrupted integrity of the inner lining of the arterial wall is what I was trying to tell you. Okay, now coming back to the small dense ones. What do? Because they are very small, they can enter the damaged cell wall. If there was an integrity, no problem. This cell wall of the artery and are involved in plaque formation, that is atherosclerosis process, and blocking of blood to the regions or the vital organs. Triglycerides, if they are high, how do we find out? Do we have this A type or the B type of LDL? Now look at your report, the blood lipid report. If the triglycerides are high and your HDL is low, then you have the small dense LDL. If your triglycerides are low and HDL is high, you have this kind of LDL. As soon as I look at my report, the patient's report, I know, should I be worried about their LDL or what LDL they have is absolutely fine and I don't have to bother about it. Okay, so this is how you find out if you have dangerous LDL, harming LDL, or do you have the buoyant or the light floating LDL. Now, how do I correct, or what are the solutions if I have these LDL? First, let us see what creates this small harmful LDL. Sugar. Now you know why sugar is harmful. It's not only creating metabolic disorder, the diabetes, it is also creating this kind of LDL, which is risk factor for many of your problems. One is heart problems, second is arthritis, and all your autoimmune disorders. Stress. Manage. Learn to manage your stresses. Learn yoga, pranayama, meditation, or get out, take breaks and get out into the nature and relax so that you can reduce this kind of LDL being formed in your body. The soya and the corn oil. Do you get that? Stop soybean oil and corn oil. And not just because that they produce this type of LDL, they are also genetically modified. They're grown for this purpose. So stop using soya and corn oil. Stop trans fats, hydrogenated fats. Where do you see them? In all your bakeries. Every product in your bakery is made up of trans fat, hydrogenated fat. Ask them. They use dalda and margarine. And some of the bakeries, I'm sorry to say this, the so-called Iyengar bakeries in your locality, these guys go to the slaughtering houses first thing in the morning and collect lard. They are not responsible to put it in their labels nor tell you. They have no norms of that kind. They can, I'm not saying everybody does, they can use some amount of lard because that is what gives the texture, softness, taste into the bakery products. If you have very low vitamin C, then also this kind of LDL is produced inside the body. What is the solution? We already are doing it. Increase your fruit, vegetable, green leafy vegetable, and citrus fruits. The glycation products also can add into this kind of LDL. What are these glycation products? Anything which is heated for long times, anything which has used huge temperatures are going to create something called glycation end products, and they are all harmful or create this kind of LDL. Where do you see them? I'm sorry to read the names. All your favorite foods, donuts, fries, caramelization, all your soda products, and ones which have fructose, that is high fructose corn syrup, which simply means to say in one word, all your packed, bottled, tinned, processed products. And if you have a lot of visceral fat, if your tummy is coming out, then this is the LDL which is increasing inside your body. So what is the solution? High fiber, whole plant-based foods, lots of fruits, vegetables, and minimally processed foods, and exercise. These are the solutions for this kind of problem.